mastermind originated from this concept of uniting many minds together to form collectively a mastermind. A mastermind is multiple minds coming together and expressing opinions and points of view that potentially are contradictory to each other, that are opposing each other's views, that cause friction and stress, but that polish each other through consistent refinement. Iron sharpens iron, we know this. As I walked through the Parthenon in Greece last year, and the sun was setting on the ocean, and I could see the sun beaming through these pillars, these white, beautiful pillars. I just imagined the Stoics sitting there conversing, dialoguing, arguing about the intricacies of life. And I realized there's a new era that is upon us, the era of the digital Stoics, where you're no longer afraid to give your opinion, where you're no longer afraid to stand by truth, that you're okay messing up, that you understand that failure is just a construct of the system to keep you from trying, that if you surround yourself with winners, you will inevitably become a winner. Somebody said there's no ocean in Greece. Call it a sea. Does it really make a difference? You see, these are the problems with people. People are so focused on the nuances that they don't seem to understand the bigger picture. They're caught up in the semantics and the words that they neglect the principles that I'm trying to convey. Don't be so botted. Understand that language is just a construct. As long as my message is communicated clearly, you need to understand that communication is not what one says, but what the other person understands, right? That's what communication is. So as long as my point came across clearly, then we're in the green. So let me ask you again, what are the inflation-proof skills that you are developing? And what is the network that you have around you? And what is the intentionality that you're going to apply to make sure that you do not end up in the situation that 99% of the world is in? I posted on my Instagram story just now. I'm here chilling on this beautiful lounge chair, 5-star hotel in Hong Kong. Just got back from all-you-can-eat Japanese Wagyu. And I look down and you have the highway here. Traffic jam. Everybody coming back from their 9 to 5. When you begin to realize that in the feudal times, the peasants had more time off than most of the people working a 9 to 5. Go look it up. Go look how many days peasants had off to just fuck off and do whatever they wanted. So as much as you call them peasants, they had more freedom than 99% of the world. It requires a lot of honesty and a lot of self-reflection. Something that most of you guys have yet to do. Mark Twain famously said, "It is easier to deceive a person than to convince a person that they have been deceived." So let me ask you, have you been deceived? Have you been lied to as to how the world works? Have you been lied to as to what is the solution of life? Now, most of you guys say, you know what, invest in a 401k, making $400,000 a year puts you in the top 1%. Brother, but $400,000 a year can't even buy you a house. Well, yeah, you can buy a house. Yeah, if you go to the fucking bank who printed the money out of thin air and request a loan. So when you begin to evaluate what your money's worth, you can't even buy a house. You can barely buy a car. yet somehow you assume that you're secure and that you're safe. It is a false construct, ladies and gentlemen. It is a limiting ideology. And people come in and out, which shows you people do not even have the brain capacity or the brain power to stop for a few minutes and to listen. They're so on this TikTok bullshit all day, instant dopamine, that they're just rats running through the maze, cogs of the machine. But hopefully you're different. For your own sake, I don't give a fuck. As much as I care, the quality of my life is impacted very little by your decisions. But your decisions impact the quality of your life to the fullest. So please, take some time and have some self-reflection. Nobody's going to do it for you. Go study the origins of a 401k. Oh, invest in a 401k. What the fuck do you think is a 401k? You don't even know, and you're dumping money into it. We have this idea of as when you retire, you have a social security pension or whatever the fuck this is, and then you start looking at social security and they're fucking bankrupt. And then you start looking at the insurance that you have at a bank that is FDIC insured. And FDIC is insured by the good faith and credit of the United States of America. It's insured by nothing. So much so that when presidents arise, like Lincoln, or like Kennedy, JFK, and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we gotta get rid of this fiat system. They end up with a bullet on their heads. Go study the story of the greenback dollars. Go study the history of the silver-backed dollars from the Treasury. And you'll realize that there is a big agenda going on. And that if you believe that you know a lot, then you already lost. The more that you know, the more you should realize that you know nothing. So once again, I ask you, what does your network look like? And what type of skill sets are you focused on developing? Oh, well, Luke, I need money. Then maybe learn the skill set on how to make money. Oh, Luke, I'm trapped. I'm in debt. Do you understand how many DMs I get every fucking day? Hundreds of DMs every single day. Luke, I'm broke. Lend me some money. Luke, I don't know what to do. Go pick up a fucking damn book, dude. What do you think? I'm going to give you a little piece of advice and you're going to apply it and your life is going to change? That's not how reality works, dude. You are today where you are based off of the decisions that you have. At the age of 18, I began to understand these concepts and develop my network. I've been at this game for a decade almost. It takes time, but you need to get started where you are today. Sure, maybe you have no money right now. Maybe you can't go and get into a room with people that are worth tens of millions of dollars. Maybe you can't, like myself, sit down tomorrow and interview 2 e-commerce giants that do $100 million a year. But maybe you can go and find a mentor that's making $100,000. Maybe you can go surround yourself with a group of friends that are actually ambitious and want to go to the gym instead of going out and partying. But you need to put yourself in these situations. I hear people being like, oh, I live in X, Y, and Z country. There's nobody here that wants to network. There's no real entrepreneurs. In every country, there's people with money. In every country, there's people with ambition. There may be less in some countries than others, but they're still there. Welcome to the age of the internet. And if you don't believe that there is, well, you already lost. It's like you going into the game already assuming that you lost the game, might as well not even play. So anyways, those are a few data sets I wanted to impart on you. So tomorrow I'm going to sit down with these entrepreneurs, as I've been doing, traveling through Asia, interviewing guys that do $50 million a year, $30 million a year, a couple billionaires. And when Capital Club opens this summer, you will have access to this content. You will have access to this information. You have access to this network. So Luke, why are you reopening Capital Club and why did you close it in the first place? Well, in 2019, I opened up Capital Club. I got several thousand people joined. And I closed it within 2 days because I realized that my focus was to multiply my wealth. As you guys understand, Capital Club is in the premise of 3 sequences of money: the creation, multiplication, and preservation. I had already created my money. Now I had to go to multiply it. And I couldn't manage a community to be in that situation. And ever since 2021 to probably about last year, 2022, we were in preservation mode. But now we're back in creation mode. And I've devised an ecosystem inside Capital Club, not only for elite entrepreneurs, which was what I focused on over the last 3 years, but for the aspiring entrepreneur, the person working a 9-to-5 wanting to get out. To give you guys the data sets, the information, and the knowledge, the skill sets that are inflation proof, and the network that is resistant in order for you to get to the next level, whatever the next level looks like for you. And it may vary. So with that being said, Capital Club opens this summer, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be very simple. I'm going to open it up for a couple days. Straightforward. It's going to be $1 a day. Why? Yeah, I thought it was good. But I was talking to my payment processors and they're like, Luke, you can't just charge $1 a day on every single credit card, obviously, because then you're going to get flagged. So it's going to be charged as a 1-year thing. And I don't know if I'm going to do this every single year. It's just going to be a 1-year thing. 1 year. I'm committing to you guys 1 year. And after that, we'll see how this aspect of Capital Club pans out. Because I have an ecosystem, right? Right now, I'm developing a funnel. Because if I can teach you guys the basics, right? If I can teach you guys how to develop a business, if I can teach you guys how to network, if I can teach you guys how to understand money and the skill sets and the infrastructure that's necessary, then what I can do is I can curate it down all the way to my high tier mastermind and my high tier event, which is where all these people are making a ton of money outside of myself. And then most of you guys know right now I do private equity, right? That's kind of one of my bigger focuses. One of my bigger focuses is private equity, right? So if I can educate people, it reduces my risk of figuring out if businesses are going to be successful or not, and then be able to invest in these companies through my private equity firm to guarantee a higher possibility of success, right? Because if I'm going to invest money and time into something, for example, go and look at Shark Tank, how many of these deals actually pan out. It's like 30% of them or some shit like that, probably even less. Most of them don't even work. But if I can mitigate that risk initially, which nobody has done before, it's going to be top tier. So if you want to level up, if you want to have access to information with literal billionaires, with people doing $100 million a year in multiple niches, gain access to a network for less than the price of a fucking coffee every single day. then I'll be waiting for you. Otherwise, well, you're on your own. Or whatever network you want to be a part of. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave one final data set for you. Oh, and people are like 365 for 1 year Capital Club. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. But remember, I also have to pay Joe Biden his tax, so it's going to be 369. I'm gonna keep it like that because you guys know I like my 369. Nikola Tesla said, if you understand the power of 3, 6, and 9, you'll understand the secrets of the universe. But we'll leave that conversation for another day. That's a whole different Pandora's box to unlock. It's going to be a crazy one. But be on the lookout. And as soon as I leave Hong Kong this week, I'm flying back to Singapore, where I will be getting together with 15 individuals, one of them being the son of the former Prime Minister of Singapore, the former President of Singapore, to basically talk about how the world works. We'll be sitting down with a couple hedge fund managers that manage $2-3 billion funds. We're going to sit down with e-commerce savants, trading savants, not people doing $50,000 a month, $80,000. No, that's not how I work. That's not how I operate. But I learned something extremely important from a character in The Dark Knight, known as the Joker. He said, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And people that pay attention. Even if it's the price of a coffee. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, those are my data sets for you. I'm here traveling the world, unlocking data sets myself, expanding my own mind, and I'm bringing you guys along for the journey. So go have some introspection. Go have some time by yourself. Go dive into your own mind, your own thoughts. Ask yourself, what is it that you need to get to the next level? And are you willing to commit to yourself to get to the next level? And if the answer is yes, then you need to get started, because time is of the essence. Your family's depending on you. Your parents are depending on you. If you're married or have a spouse, your spouse is depending on you. If you have kids, your kids are depending on you. You yourself are depending on yourself. Nobody's going to come and save you. You know this. So the question is, what are you going to do to make sure that you ensure that regardless of recession, inflation, stagflation, whatever it may be, that you are positioned to win? If you position yourself in the right way, if you're connected to the right people, and if you have the skill sets to be in the top 1%, there's nothing that is holding you back. So spread the word. $1 a day, Capital Club, coming this summer. We'll also have some biohacking. We'll have some dope shit in there as well, because I know a lot of you guys fuck with what Nate's been doing, and you want to elevate, not only in finance, but in mind and body and spirit. And it'll be a process of development. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys very soon. I enjoyed this time with you guys. Maybe we'll do it more often, but appreciate your time, and I hope you leave better than the way that you came. Hashtag undeniable in the comments, or hashtag 369 if you're ready for Capital Club coming this summer. All the love, all the power. Luke Belmar, out.